Adherence to Jesus allows no free rein to desire unless it be accompanied by love. To follow Jesus means self-renunciation and absolute adherence to Him, and therefore a will dominated by lust can never be allowed to do what it likes. Even momentary desire is a barrier to the following of Jesus and brings the whole body into hell, making us sell our heavenly birthright for a mess of pottage and showing that we lack faith in Him who will reward mortification with joy 100-fold. Instead of trusting to the unseen, we prefer the tangible fruits of desire, and so we fall from the path of discipleship and lose touch with Jesus. Lust is impure because it is unbelief. Chico, we know that the masses struggle with lust, but that doesn't mean that we should lower the standard for what is normal. Lust is lust, and if Jesus said that lust is like committing adultery with someone in your heart, then it is not okay. Maybe you didn't kill someone's husband and then sleep with them after seeing them bathe on their rooftop, but Jesus is saying that lust is no different. Take that in for a second. We talk about porn and masturbation as major issues, but lust is a subtler problem, possibly even more dangerous, because it is solely in your mind. And oftentimes, lust is what leads to those sexually immoral actions. Look, it was grade 10 and I'd just taken a dump and didn't flush so you could double it and give it to the next person. And I walked into history class, opened up my textbook, and put my phone between the pages so I could look like I was doing work, when really I was just playing Asphalt 8. And now in this class, I was sitting beside my two friends. You had Roy and Joey. And so Joey pulled up his phone, scrolled through Instagram, and Roy looks over and he's like, "Yo, what are you doing? Why are you always looking at girls, bro?" And Joey just responds, "Because they're hot. Why wouldn't I be looking at them? You don't do this?" And me and Roy were like, "Bro, what's wrong with you, bro? You don't even know those people in real life." And Joey responds saying, "What do you think? I'd rather look at some dudes or some attractive girls? You guys are the ones that are weird." That was an interesting exchange because as months passed, my mindset slowly shifted towards that of Joey. I started looking at girls online, and it must have begun with the Archer and Valkyrie in Clash of Clans. I'm joking, that's crazy. But yeah, I would be looking at these random girls on Instagram, and eventually my explore page was just a bunch of models. I was down atrocious. It became my pastime to be just looking at girls online, and eventually that translated into looking at girls in real life, just lusting after every single one that I saw. I still remember in grade 11 art class that instead of admiring the pair that I was supposed to draw, I was admiring my classmate's butt. Praise God I wasn't drawing it. It was actually bad. That's kind of funny in hindsight, but dude, it's actually diabolical, freaking hellfire. Now, I've come a long way by the grace of God, but lust is still something I have to deal with. Just because everyone is lusting, and just because your mind is so normalized to doing it, doesn't mean it's okay. If Jesus sets the standard that lust is always a sin and that He wants us to live completely without lust, then we can't just think, just lust whenever, it's only in your head, doesn't hurt anybody. We shouldn't even be thinking, just lust a bit less. You can't get rid of all of it, you just do a bit less. No, our goal should be to never lust at all. Our goal is to become blameless and holy like our Father in heaven. This is repeated in Scripture time and time again. So when did we lower the standard for what's possible and what's normal? It's not okay to be lusting after strangers in the streets. It's not okay to be lusting after movie characters or models that you see online. It's not okay to be lusting after your girlfriend. If you're being tempted by lust, say it as it really is. I want to lust after this girl. I want to commit adultery with her. I delight in taking advantage of her and using her for my own pleasure without her consent, because that is exactly what you're doing when you're lusting and imagining and fantasizing these crooked things in your mind. They don't get a say. You're doing this in secret behind their back. If you still think lust is okay, it's not that bad after all this, bro, you're freaking messed up. There's no other way to put it. Right now, you're probably desensitized to lust, just like my younger self. It's become a habit and norm for lustful thoughts to live rent-free in your mind. You don't even try to get rid of them, just like how you don't try to get rid of the fungus between your toes. Anyways, what I found effective is prayer. You gotta understand that we are so weak that we can't even save ourselves from this sin. We don't have the strength. Instead, we should be asking God for help when a lustful thought comes in. That sounds simple, yet you don't do it yet. And if you do, you're not that consistent with it. So what I'm saying is that every time a lustful thought comes into your mind, you immediately go into prayer. No hesitation, no delay. And not only ask for strength against temptation, but also ask for forgiveness for even having those desires and thoughts in the first place. I remember a young lad that as soon as a lustful thought entered his mind, he went outside and puked because of how disgusting and vile those thoughts were to him. Do we have that same disgust with lust? I think this is really important. Sometimes I literally pray like, God, make me disgusted by this filth. Like, I don't want to desire these things. Like, why do I have these thoughts? Why do I have these desires? Like, can you just change my heart right now? Like, I want to love, not lust. Like, do we want to be free from lust? If we can also set additional time to pray about sexual temptation each day, that can be really, really strong, because we just can't be caught slacking. We need to be returning to Jesus every day for his strength to overcome. And so let me end off this video with a quote from Bonhoeffer from The Cost of Discipleship. Jesus does not impose intolerable restrictions on his disciples. He does not forbid them to look at anything, but bids them look on him. If they do that, he knows that their gaze will always be pure, even when they look upon a woman. So far from imposing on them an intolerable yoke of legalism, he succors them with the grace of the gospel. Imagine if we got the entire global church back to purity, where our first thought is love, not lust. We'd have Lucy practically shriveling on the ground like a worm. And that is what we plan to do here at Barak Project. We are creating a movement, and you are invited to play a vital role in God's mission. Join the Remnant, our growing community on Discord, and sign up for my mailing list to receive my monthly prayer letters. I would also love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But that's it from me today. Just remember, if anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them. So please, kill the flesh.
Showing up uninvited. Phone up, girl, I need to go silent.